Alright, so a book which I read probably 8-10 months ago, I guess. Survival of the Friendliest. It's a really interesting topic and a very important one, because you always hear with evolution the idea of survival of the fittest and species are competing with each other, but there's very, very little that you hear about, and probably very little research into the idea of survival of the friendliest, and empathy, cooperation, socialization, all those things as being well, I suppose ultimately a competitive force. But it's a really interesting subject area. The problem I had with this book, though, I think it starts off well, and I actually learn a fair bit about dogs and empathy and how they can read our emotions. I had no idea that, I guess there's so many, what would be the phrase, sympathetic traits within them and us. Obviously this accounts for domestication, and self-domestication is a big theme in this book as well. How species can basically self-domesticate themselves or selectively encourage those traits, and therefore domesticate and define their own, I guess, their own future and their own phenotype to a certain degree. But anyway, look, it's I just found that I think this is an idea that the writers, and I didn't introduce them, sorry, Brian Hare and Vanessa. I think it's an idea that's still being explored. And I think this book is best seen as an exploration rather than a statement. When they looked at dogs and humans at the beginning, a lot of their arguments made sense, and then it just kind of went on, and they even started talking about extremism and Nazism and the Holocaust. And it's not that those things aren't worth talking about, but I just don't think that they tied that back to their premise effectively. So I think they're still exploring the topic, and I think it's a very important topic, but I just kind of struggled with this book after about a third of it. So I'm glad I read it, and I think it's a very important topic, but I think it's an area that hasn't, it's still coming to fruition, and there's no definitive statement or understanding of this idea yet. But certainly the idea that species can get a competitive advantage over other species by working together effectively. And what's the word they use for it here? It's on the back. Well, yeah, just cooperation and empathy, how that can dictate the evolutionary course of a species, and also, its success in the here and now. So, I don't know, look, it's still an area that's being explored. It doesn't have to be a man-eat-man world as a basic of, or dog-eat-dog world as the basic premise of evolution seems to be put to us, survival of the fittest. So, survival of the friendliest, very important topic. I'd be very interested in your thoughts to see if you have read this book and if you thought the same way about it that I did. Yeah, I'd like to read work in this area once it was further developed, but still a very important topic, so that's what I thought of survival of the friendliest. If you had some thoughts on it, please share them, because I'd be very keen to know. Okay, thank you.